Hi, my name is Deidre Suriani and welcome. What I do is help radically align people with their purpose and their truth so that they can be the most expressed version of that in their life and business and really make the kind of impact that they're here to make in the world. So if you are watching right now, you are in the right place if you're a people pleaser. And if you're struggling with just having enough time and space for yourself, and maybe you feel a little bit resentful towards people in your life because you don't feel like they're really respecting your boundaries, your time, your energy, and you just feel like at the end of the day you just don't have enough time for yourself. So if any of that is ringing true to you, you are in the right place and you may be a people pleaser. So good thing that you are here right now with me. So I understand where you're at because for most of my life I was a people pleaser. So I feel the pain, and I'm also a recovering people pleaser now. So I know what it's like to be there, and I also know what it's like to be out of being a people pleaser and to really take control of my time, my energy, and my space. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing 5 powerful things that you can do to step out of being that people pleaser that feels like you just never have enough time for yourself or energy, and really step into being empowered. So step number 1 is you have to create some boundaries in your life. I get it. If you don't know what boundaries are, you've never had them before. I know for some people that I've worked with, they're like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Does it just tell people that I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that, I can't do this, I can't do that, blah, 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 blah? No, that's not what boundaries are. So if that's something that you thought, totally get it. I actually kind of thought that that's what boundaries were before. I didn't understand. And I thought it was just kind of a harsh way of telling people that you need space. Whereas actually, having boundaries is a really loving way of communicating what it is that you need and what you're available for and what you're not available for. So if you're a people pleaser, then boundaries are essential. And it can be as simple as just telling people when you're available and when you're not available. Let me share a story. So one of my clients, he was ready to quit his career, his 20-year career with this company. He was pretty high up in the company. And he's just like, you know, the people that I work with, they don't respect my time. They don't really care about me, and they're just calling me all the time. They're texting me. I never have time for my wife. I never have time for my kids. And he built up a lot of resentment, as you can imagine, because he just never felt like he had time for himself. And so within one conversation, I listened, I heard what he had to say about what was going on at work, and I gave him a few suggestions. And one of those suggestions was to go to work the next day and talk to the people that I worked with and say, hey, listen, you know, I know that in the past I've been available after 6 p.m. And moving forward, after 6 p.m., I'm no longer available for work stuff unless it's an emergency. And this is what an emergency would be. So if this happens, or this happens, give me a call. I need to know about it. But if it's not one of these 3 things, then it's not an emergency, and we'll have to wait until the next day. So crazy thing is, well, at least this was crazy for him. I remember being on the phone with him and just him being like, this is so weird. I got home from work. It's like 7 o'clock at night. No one's called me. No one's texted me. And he was blown away by how simple and easy it was to just communicate when he was available and when he wasn't available. So the areas that you want to really communicate with others is, as far as boundaries goes, is how much time you have. When are you available and when are you not available, right? And if you find that someone's pushing those boundaries, or maybe they just don't know because you've never communicated it before, it's your responsibility to communicate it to them like, hey, listen, I really enjoy talking to you, and after this time or between these times, I'm not available. So we're going to have to do it more in more of a frame of this time if we are meeting or if we are engaged in conversation. As far as your energy, what do you have energy for and what do you not have energy for? And then again, communicating that with people in your life. And then what kind of space do you have? Do you need more personal space? If you do, communicate that. And in relationships, this is so important, especially intimate relationships. What is it that you need and what is it that you don't need? And being very clear on what it is you need to feel good in a relationship and what it is that's not really important to you, so that your partner knows where and how to navigate that relationship in order to make you happy. And boundaries are really the foundation of all relationships. So I want you to take a few moments now to think of a couple relationships in your life that feel like you may be holding on to a little bit of resentment towards them and that they may be pushing your boundaries, and then assess and ask yourself, have I actually communicated with them what I need? And if the answer is no, then you have to take massive responsibility for that, right? And then you need to have a conversation with them and say, hey, listen, I know that in the past I've been able to do X, Y, and Z, and moving forward, I'm shifting gears a little bit and I'm not gonna be able to do that. And having those real conversations with them is so empowering. So that's one thing that you have to do. First, assessing where are you holding resistance, where are you holding onto resentment, and how can you clear up those relationships and create more clear boundaries so that you can live more of an empowered life and people in your life know exactly how to treat you, so that there's no more wishy-washy weird energy there between you and others. So that's step one, is boundaries. Step two is speak up for what you want. And this is part of step one, right? So I said, tell people what you need, but really, if we even go a little bit deeper into this, asking for what you want. What I find with working with people pleasers, and from my experience of being one in the past, I had a really hard time asking for what I wanted or what I needed in relationships. I remember with my first business, when I first started it, I was working so hard, but I wasn't necessarily making the kind of financial abundance that I truly needed and wanted for the work that I was putting out there. So if you're an entrepreneur watching this right now and you're in the first, few years of business, and you know that you're working really hard, but you're not necessarily being compensated for the work that you're doing at the level that you'd like to be, ask yourself, okay, am I really asking for what I need in order to feel valued in this exchange of energy with my clients? And if the answer is no, then you have to reassess and say, okay, so where am I adding value? What is my worth? Not based on your beliefs around money, but based on the industry standard and the value that you're bringing forward, and then make some adjustments. This can go also in relationships. If you're in an intimate relationship with someone and you need something from them, but you're not asking for it and you're assuming that they're going to know what it is that you want or need, it's actually crazy. Unless they can read minds. If they can read minds and they can show you that they can read your mind and they're psychic and they're claiming that, well, that's an exception. But chances are they can't read minds, and you have to tell them what you need. It's been one of the best things that I've done in my relationships, is really telling people what it is that I need in that relationship in order for it to work, and I know that it will work for you. So look at the relationships, look at what's going on, and write down what it is that you need in order to feel happy, in order to feel expressed, in order to feel like you are getting what you need as far as business exchange or whatever it is, and be ready to receive it. But first, you have to use your voice. You have to communicate. You have to put yourself out there in order to get what you want. You can't let people just guess, because guessing is not a great idea. Would you agree? Like, it's fun. Like, I like to guess a little bit here and there, but if you are not getting something met that you need to be met, you need to express that. And it doesn't have to be verbal diarrhea. It's someone like, I need this. It's like, okay, I know in the past I haven't said that this bothered me, or that I need this, but I've taken some time to think about it, and I actually do. So moving forward, even though our work relationship has been like this, I'm going to need it to shift into more of this. And in the past, this was our pricing with our package, and because we are offering so much value and we're putting in a lot of extra hours, this is the new pricing. So ask for what you want and be ready to receive it. But if you don't ask for what you want, don't be ready to receive it, because people are not mind readers, okay? So that's step number 2. Step number 3, be honest. When people ask for your opinion, if people ask how you're feeling, if people are trying to tune into what's going on with you and you're not being honest and you're like, things are great, things are amazing, I'm good, I'm fine, blah, 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 well, then people are gonna believe you. So what you put out there, people are believing you, which is actually a good thing because they trust you, am I right? So be honest. Be honest with yourself. What is it that you need? Be honest with others. And if people are asking you how you're doing and you're not doing great, or you're feeling weird about something, you're not feeling complete with a conversation or a situation, speak up. Be honest. And being honest with yourself can be one of the most challenging things that you can do. I know for me, that was the most challenging thing for me, was realizing when I was in a not good place. And this is when I was a people pleaser, when I had anxiety and depression and all these things were coming up for me, was being honest with myself. Like, whoa, I've created everything in my life. And though from the outside looking in it looked perfect, I was so unhappy, and I had to be honest with myself. Wow, I am not happy. I need to change something here. And when you're honest with yourself, you're able to bring awareness as to what's not working, and then from there create actionable steps to move forward to receive what you want. So if you're watching this video and you're a people pleaser, you may not always be being honest with yourself. And if you're not being honest with yourself, it's very difficult to be honest with others. So take some time to journal and be honest with yourself. What is it that you really want? What is it that you're craving? What is it that you need? And how can you express that more fully with the people in your life? Step number 5. So often, people pleasers, we put everyone else's needs before ours. Am I right? So yes, I can do this, I can do that, and you're just kind of running around getting everyone else's priorities met except for your own. And at the end of the day, you're exhausted. You don't have enough time for yourself. Do the things that you need to do, maybe in your business, or spend time with people that really matter to you, or do fun things in your spare time that used to light you up. So the last piece, number 5, is show up for yourself. Show up for yourself. Show up for yourself. When you step into a place of creating boundaries for yourself and you have more time and space, you're gonna have more energy, and you're gonna have, as I said, more time and space. So when you get honest with yourself in step number 4, you may notice that you've been doing all of these things in order to make everyone else happy as a distraction for dealing with something else that's going on the inside. And if that's the case, I totally understand. I totally get it. You may have some parts of you that are like, am I worthy of having really what I want? Do I really deserve having the relationship that I want? Do I deserve being healthy? Can I really feel the way that I want to feel? You may have all of these questions coming up that have to do with self-worth. And if that's the case, I totally get it. So the step number 5 is showing up for yourself. Taking time for yourself out in nature, doing some self-care rituals. I will have a video or something like that up on one of my channels, so you can definitely go to my blog or another video on YouTube and find some of my routines that really work for me. But taking time for yourself to really show up for yourself and reignite that inner fire of who you really are. So from my experience, being a people pleaser was a really great way to put myself last. It was a really great way to ignore my own needs. It was a really good way to distract. So for whatever you've come up with that is the reason why you've been a people pleaser, I really want you to take some time to reflect and then start showing up for yourself, because this is your life. Right here, right now is it. And if you look back on your life 10 or 20 or 30 years from now, what do you want to remember? Do you want to remember feeling resentful towards others? Do you want to remember not having enough time to really spend quality moments and experiences with your friends? Probably not. You're going to want to remember playing full on, showing up fully, going on adventures, and having time for yourself to be the most expressed version of that. So I really hope that these videos have served you well. And if they have, I'd love for you to take a little bit more time on my YouTube channel or on my podcast or on my blog and soak it all in. I have lots of resources there, and I'd love to hear from you and find how these 5 steps have worked for you. So feel free to comment below this video if it's on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're watching from, and I'd love to hear how this is landing for you. Have an amazing week, and sending you so much love.